Hi, welcome to Journey to Salvation. I am your host, Arlene Polite, and my guest today, again, is Karen Paul. Hey, Karen.
Hi.
Uh, Hey, y'all, this is a part two. I had to get Karen back on because 1 hour is not enough. The show's supposed to be, we try to sit an hour. However, we're doing a part two. So where we left off was I was asking Karen. I was making a statement or talking about how her husband introduced her, introduced her to Christ, and got her all involved in knowing God, and then the challenges. And now her husband is gone. He's no longer in her life. He's no longer at home with them. So, Karen, please continue your story, your journey to salvation. Continue your story. What happened after he left? What did you? What were you faced with?
Well, after he left, like I said, the initial response was just I felt destroyed. I felt shame. I felt failure. Here I am. My marriage has failed again a second time, and so there was a lot of emotions going, right? But then after I did all that, I had all those emotions. I looked back to God and I said, God, I trust you on this journey. And I don't know how you're going to do it. I'm a week in to nursing school, and we had a major argument, and he packed up all his things and left. So, I cried, and then immediately I had this feeling of peace come over me. And then whenever I feel that peace, I just know everything's going to be okay. Because I don't feel anxious. I don't feel like I have to call anybody or do anything or go anywhere. I just feel like be still and know. Be still and know that I am God, right? So I remained still. I stayed there that night, and I prayed and I went to sleep. Woke up the next morning, got dressed, went to school. So for the entirety of the time that I was in school, he never reached out to me well, when he first left, it took 30 days before he made contact with me to even say, how are you? How are the children doing? 30 days to make contact with me. And when he did, it was, I'm sorry. I let my emotions get the best of me. And it was a lot of things being said between your family and my family. Again, other people's input was more powerful than our own. And that's how everything just boiled down.
But when you look at it now, Karen, do you recommend for anyone to, when you're in a relationship, should you ask questions or open the door to your family at all, even a little bit? Do you recommend that? What do you think?
In retrospect, you have to know people's families before if you're deciding to get married, if that's what you want, which you shouldn't be in a relationship with anybody that you're not considering marrying, right? Because the minute that you know it's not for you, you should jump ship. But if you're considering you're in a relationship and you know that you want to be married to this person, you have to fully investigate their family.
Yes.
Their family has a major impact on who they are.
Yes.
And you kind of have to see what their family value, right? If their family does not value marriage, then they're not going to value your marriage, right?
It's true.
And so you kind of have to see people's relationship with their family, people's family values. And based on that, you have to really do some real research and maybe some counseling before you even get married, because depending on a person's relationship with their family, it can make or break your marriage.
That's right.
And that's what I experienced, right? And on both sides, because my family is very, very close and very tight knit.
Okay.
To the point where we almost don't have individual ideas. It's kind of like one brain, all right? Which is very detrimental. Because it's like what she says is the truth, what he says is the truth. And
become
keeps you from
one-sided.
independently thinking, even though I feel that I'm very brilliant, right? But as smart as I am, I still never really thought for myself when it came to matters of my own marriage. I kind of felt, well, he's older and she's older, and that's my mom, and that's my cousin, and that's my best friend, and like you take input from everybody, but take it with a grain of salt. Because people
Yeah.
are telling you things that are good for you,
It
but take
becomes
it with a grain of
confusing.
salt. Say,
Mm-hmm.
does this apply and relate to my situation? Because people could see externally what's going on, but nobody knew what happened in what went on,
Never.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And so I will say the answer is yes. You have to take family into consideration, and you have
Mm-hmm.
to have that boundary set before you even get married. What
Yeah.
are the do's and don'ts when it comes to family? What do we share? What do we not share? You know, those boundaries have to be set and in place, and you as a couple have to be solid before you involve anything,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to be willing to forgive your mate. Your family will not. Your friends will not. They're not forgiving when it comes to matters of things that happen in your relationship, even if it's your relationship. So always keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
Because family is going to be partial. Like you said, your family was close knit, so it doesn't matter what your husband says, they're always going to take your side more than likely. And
Absolutely.
and I think that's why it's so important. Like you said, it's so important. Family should not be included at all. I think in whenever you're having challenges in your marriage, when you need a true answer to your question, I believe the best thing to do is to go to a stranger or to a counselor. You know, someone that can give you good advice and without favoritism and all that stuff. So when your husband, after 30 days, did he make plans? Did you guys make plans for him to see the children, or what were your plans after that in regards to the children and their father?
So I just want to just confirm what you said of it's always best to seek
Yeah.
outside of, because in my situation, he moved amongst my family. So his family were there, but like more over the phone. He was living
Oh.
in the midst of my family. My sister was 5 minutes away. My brother's 10 minutes away. My
Mm.
mom is there. My brothers are there. My uncles, like
What a
everybody,
place
my
to
family.
be.
He left his family. He left his family in Miami to move amongst my wolf pack, as he calls it. So he never felt as if he had anybody on his side.
Yeah.
Because, like I said earlier, and there's a reason why I said that, when we tell our story about what happened, what occurred in a situation between two people who had conflict, you're going to tell that story as the victim and the other party's the villain, right? Unless you're being absolutely truthful. And it's hard, it takes a lot of self-reflection to get to that point, to be honest and say, okay, well, this is where I went wrong. People are always
Yeah.
going to, this was done to me, this was done to me, but it's hard for you to say, this is what I did. And
Yes.
so it's very important to just seek outside counsel, people that has absolutely no interest of which way it goes. So they're
Exactly.
impartial. They're not going to. They're not motivated for either party. They're going to tell you truthfully what it is, right?
Right.
So after 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
he finally reached out to me. He called me, and the reason why he did that is because on my social media page, I changed my name from my married name to my maiden name.
Okay.
And he called me that same night, and he said, I'm so sorry. You know, I've just been thinking, I didn't know what to say to you. I've just been thinking of how to contact you. And I said, it's so funny that you decided today, in my mind, after I changed my name on social media, to call me today, right? I guess
Mm-hmm.
in his mind, like, oh my God, she's done with me. It was like a sign of she's done, let me call her, right?
Oh my goodness.
So I was still in a place of, I felt betrayed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just very nonchalant, like, okay, so what do you want? Oh, you know, how are you doing? Great. How are the kids? They're great. Like, I just gave him the vibe that you left, but we don't need you anyway.
Right.
And it was not right, because it wasn't the truth. Because the
Right.
truth
Right.
was, my second son, Gabriel, he would cry at night. Where's daddy? Like,
Oh
tears.
wow.
That was the truth. And when you look at a situation where people on the outside is like, it's good that he's gone, but you don't see what goes on behind the doors of my home with my children. Me. You don't see all of the strong face that I put up with when my son is crying, asking for his father, and I have absolutely nothing to say. I have nothing to say, but this is what I would say. I'm sorry that he's not here, but I am here. I love you. He loves you too, but he has to figure some things out. And these are the things that I would have to do. Hug him, hold him, sleep with him in my bed sometimes, wake up in the morning, make sure, how are you doing? How was your night? I have to go an extra mile to try to make him feel better about his world changing. And you know what started happening immediately? Teachers started calling me for misbehavior in school. Of course I knew. He was hit. My son got into his very first fight where he hit another kid in the face with a lunchbox. He's frustrated and he's taking his anger out onto other people. People don't see that. People will tell you, oh, it's good. This is good. You're going to be great. You're going to be fine. But these are the little details that you have to consider when a family is broken apart.
It's a big deal.
Immediately, because a lot of things have to be amended and fixed, and it takes a very long time. And we're still working on it now as we speak. So, you know, he came to the house. He would spend time with the children. Usually when he comes over, I'm still in my feelings, so I will go over to my family's house and just leave him there with the kids, and then he'll call me when he's getting ready to leave. I'm telling you, I'm 5 minutes away, so I'll just come back to the house. And it was just like that for a couple of months. Then he told me that he had gotten a good job offer in Rhode Island, and that he was going to go and he was going to make money and save up and get us a new home and this and that, and we can rebuild our family. Initially, when he said that, I'm still in a place of do what you want to do because you left anyway. So at this point, I'm just going to continue to trust that God is going to take care of me and these kids, but do as you will. But I did kind of give him hope that maybe that was an option. I didn't and say no, don't talk to me. I was just like, okay. But very nonchalant, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to Rhode Island, and he told me, oh, I'm looking for home and this and that, and I found some home in this area. And so when he starts to talk to me about it, now all of a sudden, I get into this place of my family saying, oh, he left the state. Oh, he went to Rhode Island. Oh, well, you know, that proves that he really doesn't want you to be successful in school. He really wants you to fail because he could have stayed and helped you with the kids. But he moved. He wants you to.
Oh, the family.
And family, friends, everybody. That's how they said it. For him, he finally got a job that's decent, that's gonna pay him money. Because you have to understand, our issue was finance.
Yeah.
And he couldn't. He looked for jobs. He looked for employment here. Nothing was sufficient enough to take care of a wife with 4 kids. And he found an opportunity to make more income to be able to take care of a wife with 4 kids. And he jumped on it because all he wanted, now in retrospect, when he explained it, all he wanted was to be able to make money to say, even though I can't take you to fancy trips, I can provide the bare minimum. Shelter, food, I can give that to you and our kids. That's what he wanted. That's what he told me. Okay. Yeah. And so he left. But people are putting in my head, and I put in my head, not people alone. I had the understanding that you betrayed me. I needed you, even if it was not to give me a penny, but just to watch the kids after school so I could study. To pick them up from school, to drop them to school, to make dinner so that we're not eating at people's homes. You know what I mean? Things like that. And so I felt like you just left me high and dry. So when that realization came in, I just shut him out. I wouldn't pick up calls. And I remember the day he told me he found a place, I said, you really think I'm gonna leave everything that I built here, leave my home, leave everything and move to Rhode Island and have no one and nothing just so that when I get there, you can up and leave me again? I said, you must be out of your mind if you think I'm gonna leave what I know.
Yeah.
My friends, my family who are here supporting me while you are not, you think I'm gonna leave all of that just to go follow you.
Because you have lost trust. It's the second time he's leaving.
And he said, that's how you feel? I said, that's what it is. I said, there's what I want to believe, and that's what I can see. And what I can see is everybody's here, but you're not. Everybody's supporting, but you're not. So that's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And this is him calling me to tell me he found a place. Okay.
Wow.
And he had been working, saving his money to get us a place so that we can be together. And I just shut him down.
Yeah.
And so now he's hurt and he stopped talking to me. So we didn't speak. So this happened like maybe March of this year before the coronavirus. When the coronavirus outbreak happened, he reached out to me and he says, I'm going to send you some vitamins and some probiotics and stuff for you and kids to stay safe. Make sure, he said, you're a nurse, you know the precautions that you need to take, but I'm just going to send you some stuff in the mail. And he sent like loads of vitamin C supplements and a whole box of stuff, right?
So I know where you back.
Yeah, and then he stopped talking to me again. And the day we talked on the phone was the day that my son ran out into the streets and the police came and DCF came, which is 2 weeks ago. So from March till the beginning of August, we had not spoken, not one word.
Did he know what happened to your son leaving the house, your 4-year-old son?
Yes, he knows because I called him to tell him, because DCF told me that they were going to interview the family and they're going to call everybody, and they did. They called my brother, my sister, my nephew, like they called everyone. And I wanted to call him before they got to him. And so I said, this is what happened. And police got involved, DCF is involved. So I just wanted to let you know. At first, he was just like, okay, I'll call you back. And then he called me back hours later. He says, I was just in shock of what happened. But he says, I know you're a great mom, and I know that you are super overprotective of the kids. And so if that happened, I know it was an accident. So I support you. Just know that I support you in whatever happens. And then from then, it's like, now we're more on a, amicable more terms, you know what I mean? He does not, he will call, ask for the kids. The kids have a phone that they share. So he mostly calls on their phone, but if he calls them on their phone and they don't pick up, he now calls my phone and say, how are the kids? Can I talk to them? So we're there now. This is where we are.
Okay.
And so that's how I got to the point when I asked him. I said, it's very hurtful that it takes our child almost disappearing for you to talk to me. Yeah. And what he said was that, Karen, you were toxic to my soul. He says, you don't understand that you have more effect on me than anybody I've ever met in my entire life. He says, your mood changes my mood. He says, if you're not happy, I'm miserable. He says, I had to get away from you to be myself again. Because the fact that you were always unsatisfied with my level of employment, with anything I was doing was never good enough. And that was destroying me. That destroyed my soul, because I had more faith in you than I did in my God that created me, and that was detrimental, and I had to remove myself from you.
How did you feel hearing that? Yeah.
I got off of the phone, and it's like my life changed.
Oh my God.
For somebody to tell you that they held you at such high esteem that you replaced their God, and so they had to leave you because you were detrimental to their soul. That's like, first of all, I'm not even flattered. I don't want to be that person, right? Because God said, don't have to me. So I'm like, sorry, Lord, right? That's the first thing. But secondly, I felt very, I felt destroyed, and I felt that I failed as a friend. I failed as a wife, because you were to a point where you lost yourself because of me, and I didn't even catch that. I was aware of that, because it was all about me. And this is the part where I tell people, your story, you're the victim. You never see the other person, what they're going through. And so the fact that he didn't have a job to take care of the bills the way that I felt he should have, it's like, what he explained to me is that I disregarded his efforts. I minimized his efforts. And I didn't look for his input because I felt, oh, I'm paying this, so I don't need your opinion. This is my way.
Do you feel do you feel that's what really happened? Do you see yourself?
I immediately debated. I'm like, absolutely not. I am not that person. I have never done that. But he gave me 2 examples, and I was like, oh,
Okay. Oh, wow.
I really did do that. And the second example, I was like, I absolutely did that. And so, I went from feeling like, oh, I was such a great person and such a good provider. I supported you when you barely had the income to provide for us. And I was there. I stood by your side. And I didn't see I was eating the man alive. Like, I was killing his spirit. I killed his ego. I killed his, like, he didn't have any faith in himself as a man because of the things that I would say and the things that I would do that I didn't do intentionally. You see what I mean?
Right, exactly.
And so I had to take responsibility for that. I had to repent. I had to ask God for forgiveness. I had to ask myself for forgiveness because I didn't even know I was doing that. And then I mustered up the faith, put my pride aside, and I called him and I asked him for forgiveness. I said, I want to apologize to you for making you feel the way that you did. I was not aware that I was doing that.
That's powerful.
And when I apologized to him and I set out all the things, like I did a list. It wasn't just like a casual conversation. I had to actually, it took me 2 days to sit and go through some things where, okay, he gave me these examples of what I did to make him feel that way, but what examples can I come up with myself?
Okay.
And I went back and I thought about the different arguments, and I thought about why they started and why they were prolonged. It always ended up as, this is what he did, but this is what I did that I didn't take any accountability for the things that I did. Because I felt as long as I was providing for our home, I was paying the bills, my actions were rectified. And that's not the case. That's not the case. And so I had to apologize for that. And so right now, sitting here, I feel at peace with the situation because I made peace with God, I made peace with myself, and I made peace with him. And he did say that he felt that the apology was heartfelt, that it was genuine, and it was. Because it's really hard for us to say that we're wrong.
Right.
Especially when we painted ourselves as the righteous person the entire time. And now to look at society and say, I had a big part to do in the failure of my marriage. That's hurtful. Wow. And you have to get to a place where you put your pride and your ego aside and say, it is me, I'm human, I make mistakes, but moving forward, how am I going to handle situations differently? Moving forward, how am I going to handle my emotions, my thoughts differently? So that's where I am now.
But my question is, your husband, is it after he left, he realized this, or did he see all of this and just didn't talk about it? Why is it coming up now? Did he not understand what was going on?
One time, twice, we had discussions and like not arguing or anything like that. One time he told me, Karen, you have a lot of narcissistic behaviors and you really need to look into that.
I know that cut you.
As a psychology major, you're like, I know what a narcissist is. You're calling me a narcissist? And immediately,
man.
Wow. Like, dare you call me a narcissist and I was just like, you have absolutely. And then he laughed, and then he goes, there you go, and walked away. Right. So that was the first time. And then the second time, the first time it was not an argument. We were just sitting there having regular conversation, and it came out of nowhere, right? So he caught me off guard. So the second time he said it, I'm like, what about me as a narcissist? And he's like, you always play victim. You always feel like somebody's is you're always right. You're never wrong, and other people are always at fault. And you have this like perfection, like this godlike complex, like you could do no harm because you are here to serve the world and everything you do is right. And I'm like, what would make you think that? I do nothing but good. I take care of the family. I go to work, and I do that. And again, he smiled and walked away. So he felt like he couldn't get to me. And one thing that he texted me, he's like, I can't battle you. I can't fight with you because you're not even willing to accept the things that you need to change. You're not even willing to accept that you have those traits.
You're not hearing him. You're not
hearing me. So we can't even have a conversation. We can't have a conversation because we've been together for 8 years and you don't even know who I am. Okay. He's like, okay, God will reveal it to you. I remember him saying that. God will reveal it to you.
Wow. It's amazing how men handle things differently.
Yeah. But he never opened up about how I made him feel as a man, how I made him feel like how I was bruising or killing his ego and how he felt suffocated around me. He's like, although I love you, I never felt like I can live up to who you are. I always felt minimized by your presence. And now in retrospect, it's like I would pray for things, God will make them manifest in my life. And I was a good mom, and I thought I was a good wife, and I'm a good sister, a good daughter. I love my mom and my dad, and I'm always out to help people. And so for him, it's like, she's such a great girl, but what am I doing? So I'm living in her shadows.
So when he called you a narcissist, were you guys living together then, or this is just now conversation?
Yes, we were living together.
So then he tried to open the conversation, because men, they don't like that back and forth. They don't like to argue, a lot of them. So when he was trying to get in, you locked the door every time. So he didn't even try to do anything else. Okay, so what do you think? I'm sure you're doing a lot of thinking now and everything. Did you think about what made you respond the way you were responding to him? Like, well, I'm a good wife, and you weren't seeing it, what he was saying. Do you think
nobody wants to view themselves in bad light, right? Yeah. Everybody wants to believe that they are the best that they can be. And I strive personally to be the best that I can be in everything. And I do have a perfectionist quality about myself. Like, whatever I do, I want to do it to the best that I can do it. I'm not competitive. And I tell people who know me will say, Carrie's not competitive, but she is a perfectionist. I don't mind running the race slow as long as I get to the finish line, because I hold myself in very high esteem, and I am my biggest critic. So when he said he said, you have a lot of, and he didn't flat out say you're a narcissist. The second time around he did. The first time he tried to like soften it out, like you have narcissistic quality. And I was like, what So, now it's like, and ever since he left too, that's been ingrained in my mind. And I've done a lot of research, watched a lot of videos, and it's like, almost everyone have a narcissistic quality. It doesn't make you a narcissist, but people do have narcissistic qualities, right?
Yes.
But if you have a certain amount of narcissistic qualities, then you are considered a narcissist. And I don't view myself as a narcissist, but I do realize that I had certain qualities that does fall in that category. And so the first thing I had to do, first and foremost, is realize that yes, I do have that. I do engage in those behaviors. And they are detrimental to people around me, whether it's my children, my sister, my mother, my brother, my husband, or friends. It is detrimental. And when you have people who say the same thing, like I do have a friend who says to me all the time, Karen, you think your opinion is the only opinion that matters. And that's not fair. And when she said that to me, I immediately deflected to what my husband said. He says that you think you know everything and you're smart and God has blessed you with intelligence, but you don't know everything. And that behavior and that mannerism make people feel unwanted, make people feel less than deserving of you. Even though it's not true, you just make people feel that way. And I was like, ow, I would hate to feel that way around anybody. And I definitely don't want anyone to feel that way around me. And he says, but what saves you though, is that you have a loving heart. And so God allows people to stay in your life because they do see love and light in you. But you need to work on those things. So that's where I am with that.
So how are you feeling hearing all of that? Do you have, because the first step to recovery or to healing, do you feel you need to be healed now? Are you making plans to better yourself in that area? What are your thoughts now?
Absolutely. I do feel that I need counseling in that area. And the reason why I say that, it's easy to say, okay, this is where I need help, and research the help and feel that the research and the information that you found online and, you've prayed about it and you talked to God about it and it's solved. Sometimes it's that way. Sometimes you say, Jesus, I need this fixed, and he fixed it, because I've seen it. I had a horrible anger issue and I used to cuss like a sailor. But one day I realized I don't like profanity at all. So why do I use it when I don't like to hear it into my ear, but I am freely willing to give it out to others, right? And I said, Jesus, this is your woman should not be speaking this way. I should be speaking life into people. I should not have this kind of, vocabulary. And I prayed about it. And guess what? Without me noticing, I don't even curse anymore. And I don't know when that change happened. I don't know when it took place. I didn't take a self-help course to stop cursing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I just stopped. So sometimes it's just that easy. Jesus fixed it. This is it. I need your help.
Okay. Right there. Because it's important to talk about that right there, because we're grew up in a Pentecostal religion. I've been taught, just pray about it. People have this thing that just pray about it, but they don't do anything. Every time you pray, there's something that you have to do. It's not just prayer. And there are failures. People are failing in their relationship with God right now because they're like, okay, I'm praying God, why is it not happening? But if you don't change the way you're going about things, your prayer won't work.
Correct.
Because when you pray, what the Lord does is He helps you, gives you the tools to work with, show you, bring people in your life to say, hey, Karen, this is, to discuss the situation, whatever. So what did you do after you prayed so that you can stop cussing?
Well, what I did was I was cognizant of that. So whenever, and the cursing didn't have to be in a heated discussion or in an argument. It was part of my daily language. Like if I was telling a joke, I had a curse word incorporated in that. And so it's
I don't even see that on you.
Yeah, now, right? And this is why I say that my journey, my salvation journey, my walk with Christ is just,
oh my God,
it's unbelievable, because I look at myself now versus me 7 years ago. It's two different people. Like I don't even know her anymore, but it's true. It is who I used to be that girl. I used to be that girl that didn't care about what people thought of me. And I think to a certain extent, I don't have much, I don't lose sleep over what people say about me, but I do take
Mm-hmm.
into consideration how I make people feel. So that's,
Okay.
so if somebody has something negative to say, oh, Karen, look at how she dressed, or, I don't like her shoes. I mean, things of that nature, that's your problem. You deal with
Okay.
it. If you don't like my hair because I have dreads and you're against dreads, close your eyes when you see me, right? But I do now care very much so about how I make people feel. So if there's something that you say to me that if my walk with God, you know, inspires you in a way, I take light to that, right? But if you think, oh, Karen motivates me to be a better person, but then the same person is sitting here cursing night and day, that doesn't really match, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I have changed a lot, but to go back to what you're saying with the whole cursing thing, I just had to be cognizant of what I was
Right.
saying and remember to use my words to give love and light and to inspire, and that I know my words are very powerful. I know that what I say manifests in my life and manifests in other people's lives. And so God has given me this responsibility to watch my tongue because it's a gift that
Mm.
He's given me. And so I'm not going to use that gift to hurt people, for the purpose of whatever the enemy's plan is, but I'm going to use
Yes.
that wisely. So a lot of times you'll see that I say nothing at all. And that's because
No, okay.
at this time I'm just choosing to stay silent
You
because
learn to
nothing I
control
say will be
yourself.
positive.
You learn to control your mouth.
Yeah.
Wow. This
So
is good. This is excellent because our viewers, everyone needs to understand the process. When you pray, you did the work, Karen, and you're doing some things. It's the tools. Even when you go counseling, you're given tools to work with.
correct.
And you prayed and you decided, okay, I'm going to do this. And as the situation comes up, you remember your prayer and you desire to be better. All those things is allowing you to overcome your the anger, whatever the cussing and all that stuff. So with the situation that you're in now, what your husband is saying and what others may be saying about how you're making them feel, what tools are you using to overcome that? Did you pray about it?
Well, that's what I was going to say. The first
Mm.
step was that I had to actually pray to God to show me what I
Mm-hmm.
did, and also to give me discernment in those moments that I would behave that way, to know not to behave that way. So prayer is always key. And when you pray for something, you have to believe that it's done, because that's the faith part, right? So I believe that it's done. I believe that
Mm.
I no longer hold those qualities and I will no longer engage in those behaviors.
Yeah.
Aside from that, in addition to that, I again do research. Okay, what are those qualities? How do you break away from those behaviors? And I do look forward to obtaining some counseling, because again, what people don't understand, a lot of church going people feel that you don't need counseling, you don't need a therapist to tell you certain things. God will handle everything, but at the same time, He says, do your part. He's gonna do His part, but you have to do your part,
Yes.
right? And my part is understanding that I am not an expert in this area,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
God has given us all our gifts and our crafts, and we have areas that we are experts in. But
Yeah.
I am not an expert therapist, and so there's
Mm.
questions that I don't know to ask myself. And I did in the past engage in some therapy for depression and other things that occurred in my life in regards to molestation and rape. And I had 2 sessions. It changed my entire life. 2 sessions. And it wasn't even
Yes.
2 private sessions where I had a one-on-one with a therapist. It was 2 group sessions where the therapist asked some hard questions that we were not willing to ask ourselves. And it made me go into a different pattern of thinking, made me look at my life a whole different way that I never imagined. Two
Wow.
sessions. And so
Wow.
if I could have accomplished, changed my life. And that's probably for a different day. I mean, I was having bodily pain that was associated with my depression. 2 sessions changed all of that.
And
And
why was
so
only two?
prayer,
Two?
putting God first, but you also at times need that additional help. So what I said 2 days ago was, as soon as I start working and that insurance kicks in, I am going to therapy because I want to be the best me that I can be for myself, for my children, for my family,
Yes.
for my community. I never want to be, I want to be the person that walks into a room and all you feel is love and the love of Christ light. That's
Yes.
what I want to be, because that's the gift that God has given me. And when I'm not engaging in those behaviors, that is what people feel. I have people walk up to me all the time and say, I just met you, but I feel like I've known you for years. And
Yeah.
this is when I'm
The wrong
operating in
person.
light and love, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
know that God has given me that responsibility,
Right.
but the enemy is also going to use that gift to destroy the people that I love the most.
Yes.
And so because I can move the energy in an environment in such a way, he will use it to make me move it in a negative way. And so I have to be cognizant of that. I have to go to a therapist and they have to ask me those hard questions that I don't even know. I need to, like, our brain is so beautiful and it has, like, God created us so beautifully.
Beautiful. Yes.
We have the ability to tuck things away for the purpose of surviving. Okay? So in order for you to function on a day-to-day basis, your mind will lock things away that are hurtful to you so that you can function. This is how beautiful God does, right?
That happened to me, yes.
When you go to therapy, the therapist is unlocking those things.
Yes.
And when you unlock them, you're able to release it out of your life.
Go ahead.
You don't just need to release it. You need to release it out of your mind, out of your life, right? And so I don't have those keys. And that's why I need to pray and then seek help. Pray, seek help. Some work I can do on my own. Some work I need additional assistance. And that's all asking God for discernment. God, I need help. Do I see a therapist? Which therapist? Who do I see? And God will lead you to all of that.
And that's so awesome because I'm a faith-based counselor, as you know. And there's a taboo about counseling when it comes to the older generation. So they didn't talk about counseling. We kept our problems to ourselves. We didn't share it. And now it's so difficult to get, especially Black people, to go to counseling. They don't feel it's going to help. They're like, oh, I've heard they say, oh, they're going to put me to sleep. They're going to, all these crazy things. And it's so far from the truth. But so I'm so glad you're talking about it and the effectiveness of it, because God created counselors also. And that's a resource he has placed on earth for us to benefit from. So, encouraging everyone, if you need counsel, go get counseling, whatever it takes for you to be healed from your past, the things that keeps you trapped, that keeps you from going forward and living your best life. Take care of it. You're acknowledging what I love about your testimony, Karen. You're acknowledging your situation, and you didn't totally, even though in the beginning you was like, me? That's not me. I'm not a narcissist. Oh please, I don't know who you're looking at. That kind of attitude. But it's so awesome that you're seeing yourself, and you're like, okay, Lord. You go into your Father, your Creator, the one that you have always depended on. Okay, God. And you're seeing yourself. That is so awesome. And people need to understand that. See yourself. Listen to what people are saying about you. And check it out. Research. You're saying some good stuff. These are keys to a successful life. People believe that success comes from, okay, I have a big house. I'm already there. No, success is, what do you do in those moments when situation arises? What do how do you handle it? And I think you're doing marvelous. You're doing success. I really believe that, because you're taking the steps that's gonna move you from point A to point B and take it to your goals. Now, so that's where you are. You're not thinking about getting back to you're not saying, are you planning on getting back together with your husband? Do you see that in the future?
One thing that I do know for sure that was never a changing thing was that we love each other.
Okay.
That has never changed. I have never in the 9 years doubted that I loved him or that he loved me.
Awesome. Wow.
So now when I reflect on it, I say love exists, and where love exists, possibilities are endless, right?
Ah.
But where I am in my faith walk is that I trust what God tells me always.
Yes. Yes.
And I trust the way that he moves and works, and everything has its time and its season. And so because of that, I realize when I go against his words and his will, I end up in some things that are unfavorable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've done that a lot. And I'm at a place in my life right now where, God, I don't want to take a step if you did not tell me to go there. I
Go
want
ahead.
my will to be your will. I want to be aligned with you.
Yes.
And so because of that, when I first met my husband, I was told that he was my God. I don't know if it was for a season. I don't know if it was for life. I just know that I've always, always loved him. And God said, Jesus says, all you need is love, right? I have given you many things, but one thing can overcome everything else, and that's love. Jesus said that. And I may not have quoted that exactly, but it's in the Bible. So if love exists, anything is possible. I could love you from a distance. You can remarry and I can remarry and I will still love you, because regardless of whether we were doing good, we were happy, unhappy, arguing, not arguing, you left, I left, we stayed, I always loved you. And you loved me. And even, I think part of the feeling of peace that I had when he left is that you were gone, but I still feel that we still loved each other. So maybe this is what God needs us to do right now. Maybe our season as a couple is over. Whatever the path is, I want to do what God wants. I'm not going to make my own decisions anymore because I see the outcomes of that, right? And then I wanted to add before that, what you said about the counseling. I did say to him that we need counseling as a family because of what I've seen happen to the children with our separation. We have 4 boys that we're raising right now. And if you look at the state of our country and what's happening with Black men and Black boys, we can't afford to be divided. Can't afford to not be a strong front for them and to give them all the weapons and the tools that they need. And in addition to giving them the word of God, we have to provide everything for them to be successful and to be alive in the day that we're in. And so I told them, as a family, we need counseling, because Gabriel still cries every once in a while. Daddy's not coming back, and he'll cry out of nowhere. Like he'll just come out of nowhere. Like I'll be cooking or washing the dishes, and he just pop up. Daddy's not coming back, is he? And he starts to cry. And the babies are still, they're still young, and they're now. Kari turned 3 on Monday, and Ollie's turning 2 on the 26th. So they're babies, but they still see that he's not there. And my eldest son, I met my husband when he was 3, so that's his father. That's the only father he knows. And so he's having some identity confusion issues right now. And I know that because of our home being broken and the enemy's coming in and just dividing and devouring, right? But I stand and pray and I stand strong, but I say I can't stand alone. We have to do this together. So again, to go back to it, I told him we need family counseling.
I'm sorry, your voice changed. I don't know if your speaker or what it is. I apologize. I could hear you. I could hear, but it's like a squeak. Maybe we just got to go on. It's technology. But I could hear you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So so we do. I did say that we needed family counseling, and he's agreed. And so, we're just gonna go through the process of finding a counselor and doing mental health as a family with the children.
That's good.
What they feel, because I feel like I told you, I had 2 sessions and it changed my life.
Yes.
So I'm a believer of having outside, non-partial, non-biased view of what's going on, and these are people that are experts that are they've dealt with so many situations that are similar, or they kind of know how things work, and They know the right questions to ask, what doors to close, what doors to open. And of course, you're going to pray to God for guidance to find the right therapist. You don't want anybody into your family and your spiritual journey. So that's very important as well. But that is definitely a step that I'm taking. I strongly believe in it. I encourage it as often as I can. Because I tell people, the more you speak about things that you've been through, that you speak your testimony, you're releasing a lot of things that you don't even know, and it's beneficial to you.
Man.
Holding things bottled up never works, and that's the old school way. Just keep it in your heart, keep it in your heart, and it kills
that
you
will
slowly.
blow your mind. Yes. And I almost lost my life because of that, because I never shared my what I was going through, which is in my other videos. But it's amazing how one thing I'm so glad for, let me put it like this: God started a new thing. He broke the cycle, and he uses us. He used us to break that cycle of keeping things in, and that's why we're trying to spread the word. Hey, everybody, you have a voice. You have a voice. Don't keep it in, or it's going to blow up. It's going to destroy you. Open them up. Talk to somebody. Talk to the world. However you're led to do it, speak. Let out what's in there. Heal yourself. But here we are again, getting close to another hour. Karen, you're so awesome, girl. Okay, you have shared, you have told me that you're passionate about empowering women, young ladies, with the knowledge of cultivating the mindset and fearlessness and self-accountability. Please elaborate on that.
Like I said, the accountability part, you have to be accountable to yourself as a member of a family, as a member of a community. And without that, there's just so much missing that as an individual, you cannot grow. Mm-hmm. I had to learn that through my own personal journey with my family, with my husband, and how things played out. But I realized that if I'm going to be a voice that God is going to utilize to impact young women, either that experience a traumatic experience as I have in the past with sexual assault, or the next woman that's going through marital problems with their children, or just, everyday walk of life situations. I need to tell them, first of all, you can't be afraid. So you have to be fearless, because faith is not faith and fear mutually exclusive, right? You cannot have faith and have fear in your heart at the same time. So you have to be fearless, and you have to be bold about your path and your goal in life. So I want to speak to that every chance that I get. Well, how do you overcome fear? Facing your trauma is how you overcome fear. Okay. Yes. I want to talk to women about that. How does that look like? Make it tangible. You can do it. I did it. How did I do it? These are the steps that I took. They were not easy. My journey, a lot of crying, a lot of hurt, a lot of failure, but I didn't let that stop me. And again, I go back to the same source. Why didn't I let that stop me? Because I had faith. I had a faith in a God that was bigger than my situation. I had faith in a Jesus Christ that was interceding and fighting on my behalf every chance he got. And I had to be bold about that faith. And that boldness and that faith killed the fear. So that's the first thing. Secondly, you asked me a beautiful thing. Well, once you realize that this is happening, this is the behaviors that you're engaging in that are detrimental to your journey, how do you stop it? Be accountable. Be accountable for your actions. Don't play victim. It's easy to fall. It's easy to stay down once you've fallen. But you can rise. It's in your path to rise. It's nobody's path to just stay down. You can't say, yeah, but this is what they did to me. Correct. But understand that God will not allow anything to happen to you and want this to happen to you. Yes. You have to understand that I use this all the time. How is a diamond created, right? You're going to be hurt, you're going to be broken, you're going to be tortured. But at the end, you have a beautiful product. So oh, she's failing in life. Oh, he left her. Oh, she's crying. She's depressed. She's suicidal. But God allowed me to go through that process. Yes. It hurt. A lot of nights of crying. But look at me now. Where am I now? I have this unchangeable, unshakable faith.
Come
Like,
on.
you can't tell me nothing when it comes to Jesus. What? No, we are not having an argument. We are not having a discussion. We're not having a debate. Because, like my husband told me, it's one thing to read about Christ, but it's one thing to know Christ.
That's
I
right.
know Christ, okay? I know the things that he has done for me. I have seen him move on my behalf. I have seen him fight battles in my life. That's what I need. And that's not built on the ground. That's not built by staying on the ground. Yeah, let me tell you, when I was down, those are the moments that I looked to Jesus the most. So take those moments that you failed to be like your winning moments, your aha moments. When you're on that ground, when somebody walked out of your life that you thought was supposed to be there for you, when you got fired from that job, when your best friend backstabbed you, when your children disappointed you, when your mortgage called you and tell you they're starting foreclosure, when your car got repoed like mine did on the day of final exam. Okay, when you're going through those life experiences and you feel failure, use that as an aha moment. Say, oh, God, you're doing something.
Come on.
Because I realized that every time I was down on my knees because I was experiencing failure, those were moments that were the most inspirational, that my faith was stronger. I was like, oh, you're going to repo my car on the day of final exam? Guess what? I'm going to kill that test. And I did. Unmovable faith. So yeah, be on the ground, but use that ground moment to get yourself on your knees and say, thank you, Lord. Because I know that right now that I'm on the ground, you need me on my knees. I'm not on the ground because I failed. Yeah, they make me laugh, but hey, you're going to lift me up in the face of my enemy. So guess what? Everybody who was laughing then, oh, her car got repoed. Oh, she's going to be evicted out of her apartment. She's going to get, her house is gonna get foreclosed. They're looking at me not like, she really did make it.
Like, what's going on?
With 4 kids, without a man, wow, there must be a God. Unshakable faith, unmovable faith. That is what he is asking us for. So accountability. I fail because I am human. I am blessed, and I'm going to make mistakes. And I'm not speaking to you from a place of perfection. I'm speaking to you from a place where God said, I am there for you when you are the weakest, right? In my weakest moments, that's when I look to him. That's when I say, oh God, look at me. I need you. And he showed his faith. He showed his face every single time. But I had to be accountable. I had to repent. I had to say, God, this is the thing that I did and I am sorry.
Yes.
But I need you now. And guess what? He's not a man that he's going to say, oh, I'm done with you. You did this too many times. People will turn away from you because you do things too many times. Because although they tell you that you are hurting them, you continue to hurt them. Although they are telling you that this is one thing that you're doing that's detrimental to their soul, you continue to do that thing because you refuse to take accountability for your action. Me, Karen, I could never be that horrible person. I had to stop, pray, and then look. I had to look. I had to go back into my memory bank and replay situations in my head. And it's ugly. It's ugly because look, let me tell you something. When you're putting on your makeup in the mirror, you want to look the most beautiful. Every little spot you see, you cover that up with foundation, concealer. You cover everything, every little nook. When you feel it out of shape, you put your garment on. You want to look your best externally. You have to want to do the same thing internally.
Come on.
But don't conceal it, don't cover it up. Remove that thing, extinguish that thing. I tell somebody, if you're having skin issues, it's because what you're putting into your body. What are you thinking? Are you drinking enough water? Instead of spending money on makeup and concealer, buy a juicer. Make yourself some green juice.
We don't want to do the work, Karen. What are you talking about? We don't want to do the work.
So accountability is accountability and faith, key to your success.
This is a great message, and I allow you to speak this because I want the young people that you desire, you have a passion for, to hear you. And so I'm glad your voice, I hope this video goes I prayed. Well, we depend on God to take this video far because people need to hear you. People need to understand what it is to serve God. It's not, you don't, it's God doesn't separate from you because of your situation, but He said, "Come closer to me." Actually, in those bad times, that's when He wants to be close. God is so amazing. You're demonstrating that. Your life is so awesome. It's in process.
I'm still loading. I'm a
Yes.
work in progress, but I trust that God is going to give me finishing grace because
Yes.
He never starts a good thing and not take it to the end, right?
And you know what?
And I feel like God has done a good thing in my life.
Yes.
And He will continue. And all the hurt, because I used to ask myself, why would God allow a child to be molested 5 years old? Why would He allow that? And now looking back, I'm like, oh, but look at how I feel and how I can relate to young women. Look at how I can relate to hurt people. When I come across somebody who's hurt, I pick it up in my spirit immediately. I could just look at somebody and pray in my heart right there. I haven't even said hello. I already prayed for you because I already picked that up. He needed me to have that spirit, but I couldn't gain it. That's how He wanted me to experience it. So that's where we are. And I thank God for everything that happens in my life. And I continue to ask everybody that I meet, I will pray for you, but pray for me. Because as long as I'm out there trying to reach people and trying to change lives, the enemy is trying to destroy mine. So keep my family in prayer, and I will keep yours in prayer too.
But it's amazing how God uses us even in our brokenness. It's the most powerful thing, and only God does stuff like that. You be like, who does that? But God does that. And I'm at awe at what God is doing. Every time I just love to see God moving in people's lives. And I'm excited about your journey. And I know because He has taken you this far, I know your future is great. It doesn't matter how it's going to turn out. When God does it, it is awesome. It is done, and it's done correctly. So continue to have faith, continue to trust, take time. And I want to hear how this plays out because it's an awesome testimony. And I love your spirit. The first time I met you, I always love your spirit. I've met you at other functions, and I'm like, Karen, we never really had a continuous conversations and all that stuff, but I've seen you on Facebook, and you are such a beautiful young lady. And this is what we do. This is our life. And God has turned our depression, because I was depressed too, and God suffered of sexual abuse, but God has turned our pain and our depression and all that stuff into joy, that we are able to move even in the midst of fear, even in the midst of insecurity. We are powerful. We are
Amen.
And we're unstoppable.
Unstoppable. This is only the beginning. This is only the
beginning. Greater is ahead, and we're looking forward to it because we know the God we serve. God bless you, child. Again, our listeners, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in and listening to Journey to Salvation. Karen, thank you so much for sharing this awesome testimony. This is part 2. Please, everybody, go back and listen to part 1, and then listen to part 2, because this will change your life if that's what you're looking for. God bless you. Until next time, my name is Arlene Polite, and this has been Journey to Salvation. God bless you all. I love you. Hi. Thank you for watching Journey to Salvation, where people share their testimonies of faith. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please email us at info@arlenepoliteministries.com. Now, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Arlene Polite Ministries. Give me a like and then share with your friends. Thanks again for watching Journey to Salvation.